They thought it would be a royal fairy tale. The perfect union of Spain's beloved Princess Leonor and the man the world believed had captured her heart. But as the royal bells rang and the world celebrated, millions noticed something no one could explain. Behind Leonor's smile was heartbreak. And the real reason her wedding left fans in tears was something far deeper than anyone imagined. The palace had prepared for this moment for years. Every dress fitting, every diplomatic rehearsal, every security detail was flawless. Spain's capital was dressed in gold, and the cathedral glowed under the morning sun. Cameras waited, the people cheered, and King Felipe looked proudly at the daughter he had raised to lead a nation. But when Leonor stepped from the royal carriage, the world fell silent. There was something different about her. The elegance was there, the poise, the grace, yet her eyes told another story, of love, loss, and quiet pain. It was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, but those who watched closely could feel it, the weight of duty pressing against the heartbeat of a woman who loved too deeply for the throne she would one day wear. To understand why this moment broke millions, we must go back. Back to the beginning of a story the royal world tried to keep hidden. Before the diamond crown, before the vows, before the headlines that called her Spain's most perfect heir. Princess Leonor had always been more than just a symbol. From the time she spoke her first public words, she carried the hopes of a nation. Her father, King Felipe, molded her into a leader, calm, disciplined, every movement calculated. Queen Letizia, her mother, taught her empathy, compassion, and the power of silence. Yet, behind the palace walls, Leonor was still a young woman with dreams, fears, and a heart that longed for something real. That longing found a name: Christian, the Danish prince who understood the loneliness that came with destiny. They met during a royal event years ago, two heirs from different thrones, connected by duty and drawn by something no royal advisor could control: chemistry. Their friendship blossomed quietly, under the watchful eyes of those who pretended not to see. Letters were exchanged, late-night calls made in secret, smiles shared at state dinners. But royal bloodlines come with invisible chains. Spain wanted unity, tradition, and stability. Denmark sought the same. A love between two heirs was more than a romance, it was a geopolitical risk. And so the whispers began. That Leonor needed a Spanish partner. Someone who would keep her anchored in her homeland. Someone chosen, not by her heart, but by her crown. The months leading to her wedding were filled with tension the cameras never captured. Meetings behind closed doors. Advisors reminding her that personal happiness must never outweigh national duty. And somewhere in the silence between those walls, Princess Leonor made the decision that would break her heart, and touch the world. When the day arrived, she stood before the mirror in her bridal gown, pure white silk embroidered with Spain's royal insignia. Her reflection stared back at her, strong and composed, but the faint tremor in her hand betrayed the storm inside. Queen Letizia entered quietly, her eyes already glistening. She didn't need to ask if her daughter was ready. She simply whispered, "You were born for this," and helped fasten the final clasp of her veil. Outside, thousands gathered. Bells rang across Madrid as the royal procession began. Leonor's carriage moved slowly through streets lined with cheering crowds. But among the cheers, she caught a glimpse, a face in the distance. Familiar. Quiet. Watching. Christian. Their eyes met for only a second. But that second carried years of memories, of love they could never claim. He smiled, proud yet pained. She looked away, her heart shattering beneath the weight of 1,000 expectations. Inside the cathedral, the music swelled. The groom stood tall, composed, everything a royal match should be. And as Leonor walked down the aisle beside her father, the cameras captured what history would never forget, a single tear rolling down her cheek. The world thought it was from joy. But it wasn't. Her vows were spoken clearly, every word steady, every gesture flawless. Yet in her voice, there was something fragile. When she said, "I do," her lips trembled. Christian lowered his gaze, as if trying not to watch the moment that sealed their separation forever. When the ceremony ended, the applause thundered. The royal family smiled. The orchestra played. But even through the celebration, a heavy stillness lingered. Spain had gained a future queen, but lost the young girl who once believed she could choose love freely. That night, during the grand reception at the palace, Leonor delivered a speech that left everyone silent. She thanked her family, her people, and her nation. But her final words pierced every heart in the room. A crown may belong to one person, she said softly, but love belongs to the soul. And the soul never forgets. The cameras zoomed in as her eyes filled again, and for the first time, even King Felipe looked away. Queen Letizia clutched her husband's arm, tears glistening. It wasn't just a royal wedding anymore, it was a moment of truth. In that instant, the world realized that behind every royal story lies a human one. Fans from around the globe wrote messages, crying not for the crown, but for the girl who had to let go of love to carry it. The internet flooded with tributes, calling her, the Queen of Hearts, and, the royal who dared to feel. Days after the wedding, a quiet rumor spread among palace insiders. They said that before leaving for her honeymoon, Leonor visited a private chapel on the palace grounds. She knelt before the altar, placed a folded letter beneath a single white rose, and whispered a prayer. No one knows what she said. But the guards later revealed that she left wearing a simple gold bracelet, not part of her royal jewelry collection, but one she'd worn since her teenage years. A gift, long ago, from Christian. Over time, the pain became part of her strength. Leonor threw herself into her royal duties with unmatched focus. Her speeches grew more powerful, her confidence deeper. Yet whenever the topic of love arose, her smile always carried that faint trace of melancholy, the kind only those who've truly sacrificed understand. Historians will one day tell this story as a tale of royal sacrifice. They'll write about alliances, duty, and the crown's continuity. But for those who lived it, those who watched, wept, and felt her pain, it was never just about politics. It was about love denied, choices made in silence, and a young woman who gave up everything for her people. And that's why fans cried. Because in her story, they saw their own. The moments where we all must choose between what the world expects and what our hearts truly want. The moments that define who we are. Princess Leonor's wedding wasn't just a royal spectacle, it was a reminder that even the most powerful hearts can break. That behind every crown lies a soul that longs for something more. The real reason her wedding left fans in tears wasn't the beauty of her gown, or the splendor of the palace. It was the truth behind her eyes. The unspoken goodbye she gave to a love that once made her whole. And though the world may remember her as Spain's perfect queen, those who truly watched that day will remember her as something far greater. A woman who loved, who sacrificed, and who, in the end, taught the world that even royalty bleeds.